Today we are talking about communication, specifically how do you say things. So we're talking about word choice, we're talking about tone, we're talking about timing. I have some communication rules for you guys. Make sure you guys have pen and paper. It's one of those active classes today. So I did not give you guys the journal prompt earlier. I am going to give it to you guys right now, and I need you to write down your answer. You have a journal prompt, and then I have a couple of questions to ask that you guys need to answer. So here's the journal prompt. What's one thing you've been holding back from saying in your relationship or any relationship because you weren't sure how to say it? Okay? Write that down. What's one thing that you've been holding back from saying because you're not sure how to say it? So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to write that down. I just jumped right in. I didn't even introduce myself. In case you guys are new, welcome. I just assumed you guys have been rocking with me because this is week 12, 14, something like that. We are almost at the end of our time together. Can y'all believe it? I am proud of y'all for showing up week after week to learn more. Okay, we have 4 more classes. But you guys have been showing up week after week to learn about emotional intelligence, to learn how to increase your emotional intelligence, to become better communicators, better partners, better people, just in general. And so I'm definitely proud of you guys. I told y'all when I first started this class, I did not expect to get the response that I got. I knew that you guys needed it. I didn't know that you knew that you needed it. So I am very happy that you guys are here and you continue to show up. I appreciate it. You did not have to show up for me or show up here every Thursday, but you guys do. And I think your commitment to growth is definitely admirable. Even though we'll be done here on TikTok soon on Thursdays, that doesn't mean that you have to stop or start doing this by yourself. I told you guys I am doing a summer campaign called the Self-Aware Summer, where we are going to be continuing the things that we have started in this class, but we're going to go a lot deeper, and we are going to talk a lot more in depth. On here, I can't really get in your business and ask y'all follow-up questions, but during the Self-Aware Summer, best believe I will have that opportunity to ask you even more questions, and so it definitely won't be any hiding behind the screen. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure you join the membership community. That is where that will be taking place, so you have to be a part of the membership community for that to happen. And so I'm still finalizing some details. Once I have everything finalized, I will give you guys like all the details about it. But that is where you can find me after class is over if you guys want to continue working on yourself. So that's that. For those of you that don't know me, I am Erin. I am an attorney turned emotional intelligence coach. And now I help people improve their emotional intelligence to improve communication, their conflict resolution skills, and their connection with their partner. So I work with emotional intelligence in the context of romantic relationships. I love what I do. I feel like this is my purpose in life, at least for right now. It might change, but for right now, I believe it is my purpose. And I have been working hard on this stuff. I love teaching about it. I love helping people, be better. What's so interesting? I was getting my hair done on Saturday, and my hairdresser was asking me, like, why do I do this? She was like, you seem so tired and burnt out, which I am, because I'm still building as I'm going, and I have so much new stuff that I want to share with you guys, but just not quite yet. And I was telling her that I think that I've always been some type of coach. People have always asked me for advice, which is interesting because I've never given it to them, right? I always put it back on them because you're not going to blame me if something goes wrong. And you are the expert of you. My therapist always tells me. So what I think doesn't matter. What anybody else thinks doesn't matter. And so I really enjoy, giving people those tools to figure out things for themselves, because that's your first person, right? That's the first person you have. That's the first, you should have that confidence to make decisions yourself and know what's best for you, right? Don't do things just because somebody else told you to do it, because they are looking at things from their own perspective, not yours. And so I always wanted to, help with that. And I've always had kind of like a soft spot for relationships for whatever reason. Some things I can't explain. And I always thought, like, people know that they are in unhealthy relationships. Why do they stay? Right. And so I've always been curious about that. Why? Like, why are you still here if you know that this is not a healthy relationship for you, or you're not happy? And so I've always wanted to give people those tools to make their own decisions, to understand why they are still there. Even if they choose to remain there, cool, that's your decision. But as long as you are making an informed decision, that's all I care about, right? So yeah, I'm always, that why is what always gets me. So helping people figure out people to figure out their own why, is what keeps me going. Yes, that's one lesson you learned in college. You're the expert of you, because nobody, like, you got to trust yourself. You started this class obsessed with a man, and now I'm not. I hope that's a good thing. So you guys know the rules. No projecting. You can share your experience, but don't put your experience on anybody else. No generalizing, all men this, all women that, because it's just not true. Again, you can share your experience, but don't overgeneralize. Be honest with yourself. That's the only way that this class is going to be effective for you. I am not a therapist. I am a coach. And there's got to be a safe space. That's the number one rule. We talk about some sensitive things in here. I appreciate you guys trusting me with your with these things. And so we have to make sure that that this remains a safe space so that we can continue to grow and nurture. Got it? Cool. So I did not give you guys the reflection question in advance, so I need you to answer it right now for me. Get your pen and paper so you can write down your answer. The reflection question is, what's one thing you've been holding back from saying in your relationship, past or present, any relationship, because you weren't sure how to say it? So you didn't tell somebody something because you didn't know how to say it or how to bring this up to somebody else. Hey, Cheese. So I need you guys to write down your answer to that question. And then I have a few more questions that I need you to write down answers to, and then we are going to jump in. And I'm asking you, we're going to come back to your answers. I'm asking you to answer the questions first because I need your honest answers. And then we can see if your answers change by the end of class. Okay. The next question for you. How would you tell your partner that you have a concern about their best friend? Let's make it even better. Let's make their best friend the opposite sex, or whatever sex that your partner, the same sex as you, they have a best friend, right? So if you're in a hetero relationship, meaning your guy has a female best friend, or, you know what I mean? So how would you tell your partner that you have a problem with their best friend? Okay. The next thing I need you to write down, how would you tell your partner that you aren't satisfied sexually? The next question is, if you are dating somebody, the next question is, how do you ask them like the status or what's going on? Like, what are we doing? Oh, I love that, Ty. It is. You helped me figure out what I really want with one of the exercises we did. That's wonderful. I'm glad this is really helping you. Let me give you guys one more question to write down. You feel like your partner doesn't listen when you talk. These questions cutting deep. Fantastic. So today we are talking about word choice, tone, timing. I'm going to give you guys rules to help you be a more effective communicator. The first thing that I want you guys to remember, and you probably have heard this a million times, you might not have heard it in a long time, but this rule is so important when it comes to communication. Guys, ready? If you don't remember anything else that I tell you tonight, I need you to remember this forever and always. Promise? Tell me you promise to remember this before I tell you. I need y'all to tell me that you promise that you're going to remember this forever and ever before I tell y'all what it is. Okay, y'all promise? Promise. So, I need you to always remember that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I need you to remember that always, always, always. Okay? So everything that we talk about tonight, all of the rules I give you, all of the tips that I give you is going to help you with the how you say things. Okay? All right, so and it's so crazy. I was on Facebook, I think that was earlier today or last night, and it was, the post said, what was your ex right about? And one person wrote like that, my mouth is crazy. And I was just like, that's not cool. Like, it's not, like, thinking that you are being an effective communicator just because you are honest, you are blunt. That doesn't mean that you are a better communicator, right? So we're going to talk about being more of an effective communicator, right? Just saying stuff as soon as it comes to your mind without putting any thought to it may not make you an effective communicator, okay? So we're going for effective. And that also may change based on who you are talking to, okay? And we're going to get to those rules in a second, in a little bit. And so this is not about, I'm not telling you have to sugarcoat things. Like, you can still be a direct communicator, but there is still a way to do it with tact to make sure that you aren't saying things to hurt your partner. And that's what we want, right? Also at our big grown age, right, we are working on being better communicators. We're not holding grudges anymore. We're going to learn how to say stuff. We're going to learn how to communicate our boundaries without shrinking, without stepping on people's toes, right? You can do this. Life is so much easier when you learn how to communicate, right? Oh, I don't remember which one question 5 was, but we're going to come back to them. Okay, I'll answer that question. If I don't, where's my pen so I can... let me write it down. I'll come back to that confidence questions. So, let's see. Where are we going to... Y'all know I got my outline. I'm not going to ask y'all all those questions. Where do I want to start? Where do I want to start? Let's see. So your word choices matter when you are talking to whomever, your partner, your kids, coworker, whatever, right? Word choice matter because it shapes how the other person receives the message. right? Tone and phrasing can either open somebody up or shut them down. Right? And so when you are emotionally intelligent, right, that means that you are aware of not what you're saying, but also how you're saying. Remember, you got to remember that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Okay? So one of the things that I just want to jump straight into the rules. Let me see. Do I want to just jump straight into the rules? Yeah, we can just jump straight into the rules, okay? And then if anything else comes up, we can. So, word choice matters because it affects how somebody receives what you have to say. And you know this is true because if somebody gets defensive when you're talking, you know people have clammed up, right? What you want to try to do when you are communicating with your partner is the goal is to not make your partner clam up. The goal is, right? And so you want to figure out how you need to say things so that your partner can receive what you are saying and respond to you, right? And actually respond to what you're saying. Because the minute the gloves come out, good luck. Okay? So word choice matter. And so one thing that you should think about when it comes to word choice, sometimes you have to use softer language. You can be direct and kind at the same time. You can be firm but compassionate. Right? So let's say, what's the example I have down here? You always ignore me. Versus, I feel dismissed when you're on your phone when I'm talking. Y'all see the difference? It gives you two different responses. Because if you go to somebody or go to your partner and you say, you always ignore me, what are they going to say? No, I don't. It doesn't get you anywhere. That's not going to be an effective or a productive conversation. Right? I feel dismissed. Right? It keeps the focus on you. We're talking about your emotion, right? Affecting the emotion, identifying the emotion, and then obviously what you need done, like what you want to be different. If I say I feel dismissed when you are on the phone when I'm talking to you or when I'm sharing about my day, obviously the solution would be for that person to put their phone down and listen to you. Versus if you say, you always ignore me, you never listen when I talk. Yes, I do. Now the gloves came out. All right. So another rule for you guys, I think I've told you this one before. You need to start your sentences with I, not you. All right. If you feel like your partner is not doing enough around the house. All right. There's a difference between you don't do anything around here and I need more help with the kids at night. All right. You don't do enough is accusatory. People are going to get defensive. The gloves come out. And it also doesn't, you're just talking about the bad thing that they did or the thing that they haven't done, right? You don't do anything around here. Versus, I need some more support with the kids at night is going to give you a different result. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are using softer language. So let me show you guys. No, not that one. I'm also going to give you a list of things to use. Community ladies, can you see the screen? Oh, I can't see the chat. You guys are saying yes. How long did
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So, how long did it take me to get into the groove of having a better conversation style? It took me some time because believe it or not, I was extremely shy growing up. So I didn't talk much. I would just, everything was, I don't know. And I would shrug. I didn't talk much at all. And then I got tired of waiting for people to treat me the way that I should be treated. And I said, okay, Aaron, you got to learn how to speak up for yourself. Then I went from one extreme to the next, right? Because then the Philly would come out. Then the attorney would come out. And I would just say something, at least I thought I was saying something plainly, and people would actually flinch or recoil or be like, dang, why you say it like that? And literally in my brain, I just opened my mouth and said a word. So I went from one extreme to the other, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, well, dang. So there were things that I also learned that it's not always me, but these things that I'm teaching you, right? These are the things that I actually use. I actually do this to this day to communicate. And I'll be honest, I don't always get it right. There are times where I will take my time. Like if there's something I need to say and it's important, I will take my time. I will figure out what softer language I need to use. I need all the things I'm going to tell y'all. I go through this and I will go and say it and it still be harsh. And I'd be like, dang, I really took my time and tried. It actually just happened. When did that happen? I feel like it happened recently. And I was like, dang, I thought I was saying it nicely, but I wasn't. So it just takes time. I also am non-confrontational. So I'm never going to argue with you, ever, ever, ever. That's just not me. But also because I'm not non-confrontational and I'd rather just get to the solution. What are we arguing for? We have a problem. We are in odds. We're disagreeing. Where do we go from here? I've always been that type of person. What do we do about this? Why are you telling me this? So it took me some time. But once I saw it was more effective and that I can get what I want a lot quicker if I just ask for it, it became my normal routine. So let me give you guys softer language. So, and hey nephew, if you are, let's say a friend is coming to tell you about something that happened in their relationship. A lot of times the response is, let's say you should leave is the advice you want to give them. You should is a very dominant, it's a very direct language. Instead, you should can be replaced with have you considered. Right? Have you considered make somebody more receptive of it, and it puts it back on them. As opposed to you should do something, or have you considered this? Instead of you need to, it might be helpful if you did, or it might be helpful to X, Y, and Z. Instead of telling somebody that they are wrong or that's not right, you say something like, I see that a little differently, or can I share a different perspective? That's the one that I use. Can I share a different perspective? I talk to people all day long, right? And so some people will call me like, oh yeah, because this happened, and I said this and this. And in my head, I'm thinking like, you said that to somebody? Perfect example. I was talking to one of my guy friends, and he had been talking to this young lady, getting to know her. But he was moving And so he's been busy packing up his house so he can get movers and move. So he hadn't talked to her as much. And he finally answered the phone when she called and said, like, I was moving, whatever. And so I think she asked something about spending time together, or, she feels like she reaches out more or something like that. And he said to her, I don't think you're not at the top of my mind when I don't have nothing to do. Excuse me? I had to stop him. I said, did you tell that lady that? And y'all, when I tell you he was completely oblivious, like, yeah, like, what's wrong with it? I said, you told this lady that when you don't have anything to do, she's not the first person you think of. And he was like, yeah, like I was being honest. How did you think that was something? And he was like proud of himself that he like was being honest with her. I said, can I share a different perspective? Can I share a different perspective? Right? As opposed to saying you're wrong for saying that to her. Now, or I might have told him that was a horrible thing to say. But usually my go-to is, can I share a different perspective? And I always ask first. Right? So for those of you that like to problem solve and always feel like you are solving somebody else's solution or giving unsolicited advice, ask them if they want it first. Can I offer you a different perspective? Because they might say no. Save your energy if they don't want it. Who were you to have to save all the problems? I'm talking to myself. Okay, so can I offer a different perspective? Is something else that you can use. What else? Softer language. So another thing that my favorite one, when somebody is like, when I want to figure out, like, why would you do that? My go-to is, help me understand what you were hoping to like achieve with that. Help me understand what you were thinking. Okay, help me understand. That's like one of my favorite. Help me understand what you was thinking, like, i.e., WTF, right? But you say it nicer. Help me understand what you were thinking, or help me understand what you were hoping was the outcome of that. Like, other than, why the F would you do that? Why the F would you do that is very judgmental. Doesn't make it a safe space, right? You need your partner or whomever to feel like they can come and talk to you about everything. But if you are going to be dismissive, or if you're going to sound judgmental, they're not going to talk to you, right? Think about people in your life that there are people that you know that you can go and talk to about anything. And there's probably people that you're like, I'm not talking to this person because they are judgmental, right? So your response has a lot to do with creating an emotionally safe space in your relationships, any type of relationship, right? And so it's important for both people to feel comfortable, like they can come and talk to you about any and everything. You always or you never. I've noticed this has come up sometimes. I've noticed you've done this a few times. Okay? So that's one rule. Try softening your language. That may help. Another rule, and so the person that asked about being more confident in interviews, this is, I find this a lot in workplaces too, this next rule. Don't kneecap your needs or your sentences. So kneecapping is when you weaken or soften your message. I was just wondering if, it's probably not a big deal, but I kind of feel like you don't listen when I talk. So you don't want to kneecap your words. So kneecapping is when you soften your message. And people do it for a number of reasons, either fear of the other person's responses. Okay. So don't kneecap. And this is a lot to do at work. I was just wondering, or could, what else did I say? It's probably not a big deal, but I kind of feel like, and so somebody was asking me about how I learned. This is one of the things that I had to stop, and I still have to, right? If I need to communicate something to, I kind of feel like you did X, Y, and Z. I kind of feel like you don't listen to me. No, I don't kind of feel like nothing. This is how I feel. I kind of felt sad when when you canceled our date, when you canceled our plans. You didn't kind of feel nothing. That's how you felt. So take that kind of out. I was just wondering if we could go to the park on Saturday. Can we go to the park on Saturday? Noted, because I kind of be doing it, right? Right. And so in some situations, it's not that big of a deal. But when you are having a serious conversation, when you need to communicate or have a difficult conversation, those things diminish. I kind of felt sad when you canceled our date on Saturday. Did you feel sad or not? Because if you only kind of felt sad, then maybe I don't feel bad about canceling it. But if I know I made you sad for real, right? So kneecapping. When you are communicating something that's of importance, it also happens at work a lot. So you want to take those things out. Another tip for you guys, when you are asking your partner, I wrote this one down. I had to remember to tell you guys this one, because this one is a real good one, because I know a lot of you do this one. You feel like getting the groceries out the car for me? You feel like giving the kids a bath for me tonight? When you are asking questions, you got to make sure you're asking the correct question. Now, while I'm sure your partner knows what you mean when you say that, but do you feel like it, and whether or not they'll do it are two different things. I used to tell one of the guys that I was dating, he used to always be like, oh, you feel like doing this for me? I don't feel like it, but I will. You feel like getting you feel like getting the groceries out the car? I don't feel like it. That's not the question to ask. The question is, can you get the groceries out the car? Will you get the groceries out the car? Right? You got to make sure you are asking the correct question. Again, while I'm sure they understand what you mean, we're working on being a more effective communicator, right? So that means being clear. That means being direct. Right? There are ways that you ask things. Right? If you want a direct answer, you need to ask a direct question. When can I see you is different than can I see you on Friday? Okay? So make sure you're asking direct questions. Don't kneecap. Intent versus impact is a thing too. So you may say something one way, so is what you meant to say. Impact is how it lands. You cannot negate how your words impact somebody else. You shouldn't feel like that. You can't tell them how to feel. You can apologize because that wasn't your intent to make them feel a certain type of way. But if something that you says makes somebody, the impact You just got to apologize for it, right? Intent versus impact are two different things. Okay. Where else do I want to? What other rules do I want to give you? Those are like smaller ones. Yeah, I gave you this one already. Use descriptive and not judgmental language. So not you're inconsiderate. You want to say, I feel dismissed when you X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to give you guys, let's do an exercise with word choice. I'm going to give you the blunt version of a sentence, and I need you to write down a better way to say it. Intent is what you meant to say. Impact is how the person receives it. Yes, the replay will be reposted on YouTube. I didn't get to repost last week's because my editing soft platform has been giving me trouble. And so I had to reach out to their help desk because the last few videos have been giving me trouble. So, yes, once I get my editing platform back together, I will post last week and this week's on YouTube. Yes. So, you guys ready? You got your pen and paper? I'm going to say a sentence. Hey, Tam. And I need you to tell me a better way to say it. The first one, you don't make me feel wanted anymore. You don't make me feel wanted anymore. Okay, we got one. I don't feel wanted when you do. Okay. I don't want. That can work too. I feel unattractive when. Okay. So this one, let's talk about this one. I feel like you don't need me when. Be careful about this because this is a feeling. You are trying to predict or guess what the other person is feeling. So I feel like you don't need me. If they say, yes, I do, I need you. Right? You want to keep the attention on you and not the other person. I feel like you don't need me that's a you don't need me. So you want to be careful with sentences like that. Not to say, I think there may be some situations where it can work, but if you are going to come to that type of conclusion, make sure you can back it up. Okay, the next one. I kind of gave you guys this one earlier. You're too close with your best friend. It's inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. My community ladies, what you got over here? So we're rephrasing, you're too close with your best friend, it's inappropriate. How would y'all say that in a better way? Did I stump you guys? You guys quiet now. That's a good one, Nay. I like that. I feel uncomfortable with your relationship with because. I like that. I have some concerns about your relationship. That's a good one, Cheese. Yep. I'm having a hard time with the dynamics between you and your best friend. I like these. Y'all keep go ahead, Joe. I feel like you are prioritizing your best friend over me. Okay. I feel your relationship with your best friend is significantly closer than expected. Okay. And then if you, for a little bit more, you guys can add on the ask, right? Can we talk about boundaries? Or can we talk about, what is more appropriate? The next one, I do everything around this house and you just sit around. I do everything around this house and you just sit around. That's a good one too. I feel like your closeness with your best friend is leaning into inappropriateness. Is inappropriate. I feel like I'm taking majority of the load around the house when, I would like for you to assist me with things around the house. Yep, I like that. Ashley. Tonette, that's a really good way to say it. I would like to discuss how we can take a team approach to household responsibilities. I feel uncomfortable with doing things around the house. Okay, that's good. You guys are learning. Okay, so you guys got the idea of that. Okay, let's go through my rules. Let me share my rules. I have 7 rules for you guys. Can y'all see the screen? Community people? I hope so.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So 7 rules for being a more effective communicator. The first one is know your intentions before you go to talk to your partner or whomever. All right. I tell you this all the time. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is going to talk to their person too soon or go to talk to whomever it is too soon, right? Especially if this is something that has just been triggered and you are consumed with your emotions, you're not going to have a productive conversation, right? You can't be emotional and logical at the same time. We say, I've told you this before all the time. So when you are going to go talk to somebody, make sure you know what your intentions are. That is also going to help to dictate your word choice. Right? What are you hoping to achieve with this conversation? Okay. So that's the first rule. Know your intentions before you go and speak. This is another thing. This is the second thing that I need y'all to always remember. Just because it's true doesn't mean it needs to be said. I told you that a couple weeks ago. Just because it is true does not mean it needs to be said. Let's bring it like this. All right. What's the purpose of you saying this? Is this going to move us closer together or make some contention between us? Am I speaking this to connect with this person, or do I have a desire to hurt this person? All right, sometimes we say some mean things. All right, so just because it is not true does not mean it needs to be said. That was another one that I had to learn. So like when I am practicing what I'm going to go and say to somebody, I read what I wrote, because a lot of times, thank you, I write down what I want to say. And I think, okay, what is it that I want to come out of this? Is it that I want them to correct behavior? Am I shutting things down? Right? So I'll give you guys an example. And I tell y'all about this person before. I told you about him before. The one that I had an anxious attachment style, that when I fell asleep and when I woke up, I had a whole lot of text messages from him and missed phone calls. That person. So I tried to, and he was asking, like, are we still good, right? He needed to be reassured. And so I tried to sidestep that question. Like, I didn't want to answer, like, I was asleep. And I explained that I was asleep, right? So, but when I decided, and he just kept going, and I decided that this was too much for me, right? There is a difference between I can't give you what you need and I need you to be more patient with me. I can't give you what you need, period, is conclusory. I closed the door. Versus I need you to work on, or I need you to have more patience when I don't answer the phone. See what I'm saying? One closes the door, one opens the door. I had to think, okay, I don't want him to continue to try, which is why when I don't believe that when you are breaking up with somebody, I don't believe that it is helpful to share the things that you dislike about them. Right? Because a lot of times when you go and say, well, it's because of X, Y, and Z, I could work on it. I could do better. Now, if you want them to work on those things, right, then the conversation is different. How you word it is different. Right? Another person, I was not attracted to where he was in life. And so when I stopped that situation, I put it on me. I did not say it's because of where you are in life. I wasn't open to continuing that conversation, right? And so you have to make sure that when you are talking to somebody, you have to make sure that is the intent to open up and have dialogue about this, or is this something where you're closing the door, there is no discussion about this? Right? So yes, it is true that I was not attracted to where he was in life, but I did not need to tell him that. There was no good all I could do was hurt his feelings, and that's not something that I want to do. All right. So when you are thinking about if you need to share this, I told him I focused on the other things that I didn't have the capacity to be in a relationship, which was also true. At this point, I was back and forth, or maybe I was in Philly for a period of time because I was taking care of both of my parents by myself and working and doing the business. I think at that time I was trying to run 2 businesses. and work and take care of both my parents. And so it was also true that I really didn't have the capacity. Like I could tell that like at the end of the day, I didn't really want to talk sometimes. I could tell that he had been waiting to talk to me all day long. Right. And so I kept it on that focus. I focused on that. Right. I don't have the capacity to do this. I don't want to bring you. Like, I don't know when I will be ready. Right. And I didn't put it on the other things. The other things were also true, but there was a better way to do it. Right. And so another tip that this one I actually got from my godmom, who is a counselor. I'm going to get her to come, and if you guys join the membership community, I'm going to have her come and teach a class. But she always says, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said right now? Does this need to be said right now by me? Okay. So there's also something that you can keep in mind. Okay. So does it need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Does it need to be said right now by me? The next rule for your communication, make sure that you are picking a good time to talk. Right? If you have been at home all day and your person comes in the door and you start give them a second. They might need to debrief. Right? And so one thing that me and my friends do, like my girlfriends, if we need to vent or we just need to complain, we ask first, do you have the capacity to listen? And I think that has been like really helpful. And I think it's also considerate. Do you have the capacity right now to listen to me? Because they might not be. They might be in the middle of thinking about something else. They might need time to debrief. And when you talk to somebody when they don't have the capacity, when they're not listening to you, not going to be an effective conversation. Yep, that's a good one. Hey girl, can I vent? Right. And sometimes we say, not right now. Can I call you back after I'm done doing X, Y, and Z? And then we make sure we call back. But like people that always call and just start dumping, people that always got a problem for every solution. Sometimes we don't, like, the other person might not want to hear it. I don't want to hear you talk about the same thing for 50 million times. Right? And if they don't know to ask, sometimes you have to speak up and say, hey, I really don't have the capacity for this right now. I'm over here stressed out trying to I'm hanging on by a thread and I can't take that energy too. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are choosing a time that works for both of you. Right? Maybe it's not best to have these important or drop a bomb before somebody has to go to work. Right? There may be a conversation that you have to have at night when you're laying down, or on the weekend when you have time and you actually have the whole conversation. So timing is important. Also avoid absolutes, right? This is the same. I tell y'all this all the time. Like, so no generalizing or you always, you never. But it's probably not true. It's trying to kick me out again, guys. Can y'all still hear me? My screen just got. But it's probably not true. It's trying to kick me out again, guys. Can y'all still hear me? My screen just got real dark. It does this every week. Oh. saying that there's inactivity, but y'all talking to me. How are they saying? Oh, they tried to kick me out. They do this every week. Like something pops up on the screen, like we detect inactivity, like, and I gotta like press the buttons, or like, you know how to say like 2 bicycles, or I don't know why they do this all the time. I forgot which one did I just give you. Oh, so absolutes. You always. I already gave you guys this one. Speak in I. So you start your sentences with I and not you. This is going to reduce the blame. This is going to prevent your partner from shutting down. It's going to prevent your partner from putting the gloves on. I tell you this, guys, this one all the time too. Focus on the behavior, not the person. So it's not you lazy. You just sit on the couch all day. They're not lazy. You want them to help more though. Good job, Ashley. And another thing is be curious, not confrontational, right? And so that is also part of softening your language. So don't tell somebody you wrong. Help me understand what made you think that was okay. Help me understand. Have you considered? Okay. Let me see if that's all. Are those all of the rules? Okay, I think I got 2 more rules for you guys. Yeah. Okay, 2 more rules, and then we are going to go back to your journal prompt from earlier. It's 9 o'clock already. Jeez, time went down real fast. 2 more rules, okay? Focus on what you do want, and not what you don't want. So we talked about this before, right? If you need more help around the house, we're going to focus on what you do want. So can you help me do X, Y, and Z instead of a you don't help me. You never got it. Focus on what you do want. And we're going to go back to the questions that I gave you in the beginning, and we're going to talk about, use these rules to make your response more effective. So focus on what you do want. So instead of pointing out flaws, give the clear, like the alternative, what it is that you do want. Also, it also helps to prevent your partner from feeling attacked, right? I won't give you the example. We'll come back to the example. And then the very last rule is to know your audience. You got to know who you are talking to. You're going to have to tailor your delivery to that person. There are some people that you can be more direct with. There are some people that are more sensitive to certain things. And so it can be annoying, but you got to consider who you're talking to. I have friends that I can ask, why would you do that? And I have some that I can't. I know I have some that if I ask, why would I know they won't be offended. But you got to consider who you are talking to, right? You got to understand what your partner's buttons. You got to know what the approach needs to be. And so I was working with a client, maybe that was last week. We had her session, and we were working through, she feels like she is aggressive, and she was trying to figure out how to still be a direct communicator, but kind of like tone it down. So that's what we worked on last week. And so one thing that I also told her is if we're talking about tone, match the person's tone. Right? So if they're talking in a soft voice, don't sit there and yell at them. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Match their tone. People also typically speak in the way they want to be spoken to. Just like love languages, we speak our own love language usually. Same thing for your communication style. You usually speak the way you want to be spoken to. However, that may not work for your partner or your mom, your kids, whoever you're talking to. And so if you are having communication issues with your partner, mimic how they talk to you, assuming it's healthy, right? Mimic how they talk to you. What is their response when you go to share something with them? What do they say to you, right? And I've told you guys this before with that one guy where I always jump in, like, what we going to do about it? I'm all usually solution focused. And he told me, like, I'm not always looking for a solution. I just need you to say, I'm sorry to hear that. That's exactly what he says, even to this day. That's exactly what he says if I call or like if I tell him something about me. But for me, I don't care about no, I'm sorry you feel this way. I need to figure this out. I need a sounding board. Like, so again, I know who I can call and talk to, because if all you're going to tell me is I'm sorry you feel that way, that's not helpful. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't need your sorry. But that's what he wanted. So that is also a tip if you are trying to figure out how to communicate with your partner better. Pay attention to how they communicate with you and mimic that, assuming that it's healthy. Okay, so let's go back to these questions that, let me make sure I gave you all the rules. Okay, I should remember these pages. I'm all over. Okay, let's go back to the journal prompt and the questions. Well, let's go back to the question. The journal, your answer to the journal prompt might have been longer. But let's go back to the questions that I asked you earlier, and let's see if any of your answers have changed. And so how I asked you guys, one of the questions I asked you was, how would you tell your partner that you're not satisfied sexually? Yeah, that was one of the first questions I asked you guys to write down. How would you tell your partner you aren't satisfied sexually? Right. And so so somebody asked me this last week at the end. So we were on long last week. And so people started asking questions, and somebody asked me this, and I asked her, like, what is it she's trying to accomplish with this conversation? And she said that she doesn't feel emotionally connected to him. And I said, well, that's two different things. Not being satisfied sexually and emotional connection. You was about to ask about the wrong thing, girl. Okay. And so, again, you got to make sure that issue spotting is a thing. So you have to make sure that first you are even asking about the correct thing. All right. And what else did I just tell you guys? Just because it's true doesn't need to be said. Focus on what you do want and not what you don't want, or picking out the flaws. So for this one, if you needed to tell your partner that you are not satisfied sexually, the best way to do it is to focus on the things that you do want. Hey, babe, can we try this? Unless it's something that you need them to stop, it's okay to say, I don't like when you do this, like, or that hurts. But no need to say, like, I be faking it. I'm not getting there. What you doing is not working. No need to say that. Obviously, if I'm telling you I want this or I want that something is not working. Again, just the easier way to say things. Send them videos. Can we try this instead? Okay. What other questions did I ask you? I don't remember the other questions, ma'am. We talked about you have a concern with your partner's best friend. We did that one. I asked you about if you are dating, how would you ask the person like the status of where you are, right? What are we? What are we doing? Right? What do you want? And I tell people all the time, when somebody asks that question, it's usually premature. It's usually like the first one or two conversations, and the person don't know enough about you to know what they want from you. And so a better way to ask is, what types of relationships are you open to right now? Like, are you open to marriage? Or you just having fun out here in these streets? Right? Because what do you want, or what are you looking for? What are you looking for is better, but what do you want from me? Not the most effective way to say it. Trying to see what other, I think I might have given you guys all of the tips. Is anybody willing to share? The journal prompt was, what is something that you have been holding back on saying in your relationship, past or present, because you didn't know how to say it? Is there anybody that is willing to share? And based on these rules, do you have an idea of how you can say it now? You guys don't have to share. I know it can be. Telling him how to love me correctly without feeling insecure or like I'm unappreciative. Okay, and so how would you say that now, Ty? The prompt was, what is something that you have been holding on to or that you haven't said because you didn't know how to say it? Okay. So you went from, I need you to show up for me like this, okay? Or I need an emotional check-in like this. Okay. That's a good way to say it. Okay, now you said you haven't said that you feel like you settled in a relationship. Is that something that you need to explicitly say to somebody, or say to somebody? Okay, you don't like how he doesn't show up for you consistently. He shows up periodically, and so how would you say that? Okay, Ashley, and then how would you? So after you say you're getting the bare minimum, how would you ask for more? with something like getting the bare minimum, again, focus on the things that you do want. So, hey, can we start having date night at least 3 times a month? Can we do, right? You're going to focus on the things that you do want. Okay. I feel emotionally disconnected. I would like us to. That's a good one. Right now, that's not something that you need to share. Now, that's not to say that that's not something that you need to process as to why you settled. But that's a question that you would have to ask yourself. And the other thing about the bare minimum, how do you say that you're getting the bare minimum or that you want more? One, obviously you can explicitly ask for more. Hey, can we do this? Hey, can we have date night more often? Hey, can we spend more time together? Hey, I love flowers. The other way is to show them. All right. People learn how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. And so they take cues on how to treat you from you. And so they pay attention to what you do for yourself. And that also tells them like that this is the standard that this person is used to. Now, if you're giving yourself the bare minimum, then okay. Absolutely. You've been doing a lot of self-care lately, and he booked a massage for you. Mm-hmm. So let me see. We late. We're gonna wrap up soon. Where did that other one go? I can't. My pages are out of order. What other questions do you guys have about communication? Was this helpful? Yes. What other questions do you guys have? Is there something that I can help you with, or something that you need to say to somebody that I can kind of help you with right now? Yeah. And I would say, I think the biggest mistakes, thank you. The biggest mistakes that I see when people are talking or trying to address things is one, not talking about the right things. Right? You don't post me on social media, but it's really that you feel disconnected and insecure, right? The social media is not really the problem. Right? So people don't pick the right issue, right? They have a problem issue spotting. Welcome to the community, Ashley. So you have a problem issue spotting. That's one of the very first things that people have a hard time doing. The other thing, I don't think people think about what they want the outcome of this conversation to be. All right, I've worked with couples, well, like usually it's just the wife. And they will say, oh yeah, because I tried to talk to him about this. And I will ask, like, what were you hoping to come out of that? They'd be like, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, how he's supposed to know? Or how the other person's supposed to know? So you got to understand where we're going. And then people feel like they could just be blunt for no reason, and that's not. There is a link in my bio to join the membership community. And so if you join today, you guys actually got away because the price is supposed to go up today, but I don't think I changed the price because I got caught up with something else. But if you join it, I'll keep the price at what it is today. I'll increase it tomorrow. So in my community, I will see you guys on Tuesday for our next guided session. So inside the membership community, so they are in class too, but they get the extra handouts and all of that. So they got, I don't know how to turn this around. So if you can see, so they get like extra and the handouts. And then we also do, now I don't know how to get back to you guys. How old are you, girl? And then we also do a guided session every other Tuesday. So this Tuesday is a guided session, where we come in, I have a topic, we journal, and we process everything that we write down. And then this summer we are doing the self-aware summer, so we're really digging deep. This summer is going to be a lot more hands-on, digging deeper to things that we have started in this class. I am almost done with everything that's going to be included in that. I have I got a lot coming up. I've been up working till like 4 o'clock in the morning. So there is a lot coming from me. So yeah. I love that. So the classes are the self-guided, the guided sessions are Tuesday, 8 o'clock, same time. The self-guided classes are not recorded in the membership community because that is just our time to process whatever we come up with and all of that. So we only have a few more classes here on TikTok Live, and then I will only be in the membership community. I'm not teaching for summer semester for Hillman and Talk. But we talked about that last week. I'm trying to think. So please remember that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That is very important. You have to consider who you are talking to. Your word choice matter. Your tone matters, right? This is why texting can be dangerous, because you can't hear somebody's tone via text. And so I play a lot, and I know that I play a lot, but I've had to apologize to like people in the beginning of our like getting to know each other, because reading it sounds crazy. But if you knew me more, you would know that I joke a whole lot. So you got to consider who you are talking to. Your tone matters. Remember to start your sentences with I, not you. We're going to work on kneecapping. I was just wondering, I kind of feel like, take that out. All right. And so I want you to practice when you think about I gave y'all the journal prompt earlier. What have you been holding on to, or what have you not said because you didn't know how to say it? Go back through these rules. Think about another way you can say it. Write it out if you have to. Sometimes I have to write the whole thing out. I don't sit and read it, but I have to write it because sometimes I need to hear. In my head, it might not sound bad, but when I read it out loud, be like, oh, maybe that's not the best way to say that. Sometimes you got to soften your language. So it's not you're wrong. Can I offer a different perspective? I see it this way. Okay. What else? Focus on the behavior and don't, summarize that or classify that as the person. Yeah. So I feel like I gave you a lot of tips and rules today. What y'all want to talk about next week? Do we want the next week to be what else do we need? We got 4 more classes. I know I definitely want to do a parenting class, a class on men and emotional intelligence. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have 4 more classes to go. parents, men. So we got 2 more. I feel like I picked. Hold on, let me go back to my list and I'll let you guys pick what's next. I was leaning towards parents, but I will let you guys pick which. Hold on, let me go back to my list of topics. I got all my notes from this class in one thread, and it's so long. We've been at this for a long time. Can I not find the list now? Maybe I can't find the list. No. What other topics do you guys feel like you need help with? Men. So yeah, I definitely want to do a class on emotional intelligence in men. One, helping men process, but also creating a safe space for them. So that would definitely be a class too. And I'm going to do a class for parents. And then we got 2 more classes. So we have 4 more classes altogether. So we need to pick 2 more topics. If I could find this list, I scrolled past it. I'm too full. We got to pick 2 more topics. I can't find this list of topics that I had. Workplace has not been you want to talk about workplace? Okay. Conflict prevention and de-escalate techniques. Okay, we could do that. But also so let me think more about the conflict prevention, because it might be a just a repeat of all of this, because if you are communicating what you need effectively, there shouldn't be an escalation. All right. Remember the magic sentence that I gave you guys. I felt when you did this, moving forward, can you do X? All right. And so if you are communicating that way, there shouldn't be an escalation. Right? If you are taking time to process what you are feeling, as opposed to when you are triggered, when you're angry, going and yelling and letting it out, right? It's already escalated, right? But if you're learning to take the time to process what it is which I've already taught you guys how to process, and to know why you want to go and talk to the person. So all of those things are going to prevent conflict. So let me think. I'll think to see if there's anything else. Okay, I found the list. I think we did that one already. I don't like these topics. Navigating hard conversations without blame or shut down. Why you feel unheard. Self-worth in relationships. I don't really like these topics. We did communication. We talked about a lot of this stuff already. We did that. I could do one on boundaries. Did we talk about emotional safety in relationships? I think we talked about a lot of this. Conflict. Maybe repairing after conflict. I'll think about a third one. But next week we are going to talk about parenting and emotional intelligence. We did talk about boundaries. So we'll do parenting, we'll do men. We got to think about one more topic, and then the fourth one will kind of be like a review of everything. Because we talked about a lot of this stuff already. It may not be in the same package, but I've taught you guys most of this already. Are you arguing or avoiding understanding? Maybe I'll think about conflict. I'll think about it more. Repairing after conflict. Okay. Well, maybe I'll do one on conflict altogether, and I'll include that. So we'll do, or maybe we should do that one first. Conflict, parents, men, recap. So that one could be, we talk about all the communication together. So we'll do conflict next week. Parents, men, recap. Boom. Let me write this down. Conflict, parents, men, recap. Okay. I got it. You guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. My community ladies, I will see you on Tuesday. I will email our topic in advance. Maybe. I got to think about it. I might want it to be a surprise. It depends on what the topic is. If it's something that I think you guys need to think about beforehand, I'll send you the question. If not, I'll let it be a surprise so that you can come in and write. But good night, everybody, and I will see you next week, either Tuesday or Thursday.